Chosen one, major changes in your court case are erupting at this very moment. The missing evidence has been found. The paper trail they desperately tried to incinerate now burns in investigators' hands, illuminating the elaborate conspiracy designed to frame you. Their meticulously crafted scheme, years in the making, unravels as we speak. The puppet masters exposed in harsh light by documentation, they were too arrogant to destroy completely. This is not speculation. This is happening. What was hidden will be revealed, and nothing can stop what comes next. The smoking gun they thought was vapor has materialized into solid form. Through forces beyond their comprehension, the very evidence they believed destroyed was preserved through intervention that can only be described as divine. Their perfect crime has sprung an eternal leak. Every document they kept, those damning texts, emails, WhatsApp messages, intended as leverage against you, has transformed into the very blade that severs their web of lies. The irony cuts deep. Their own insurance policy against you now testifies. Against them, across polished tables in rooms you've never seen, investigators furrow brows at papers that don't align with fabricated narratives. The doubt spreads like ink in water, staining their carefully constructed story. This doesn't make sense, they mutter, placing document beside document, seeing connections invisible before this moment. The fingerprints of financial crimes smudge. Every page, embezzlement, fraud, misappropriation, all meant to bear your name, but now pointing directly back to them. Officials who once accepted their version now question, they doubt, they investigate. Think of their terror as papers stack higher, as connections grow clearer, as the mistaken identity they manufactured dissolves under scrutiny. The evidence screams what we've always known. You were the target of calculated deception. You were meant to shoulder blame for crimes crafted by hands that once claimed to hold yours in kinship. Their evidence preservation was their first fatal error. Their second, underestimating the power of truth entombed but never dead. First, the family, member who plotted against you from within your circle of trust. This person harbored resentment for years, watching your authentic path unfold while their own life stagnated. Their bitterness turned toxic, transforming private jealousy into deliberate sabotage. They became the architect of your destruction, operating from shadows they believed would forever conceal their actions. Second, the manipulative matriarch figure, cold and calculating beneath a nurturing facade. This mastermind worked with precision, presenting one face to the world while executing meticulous plans behind closed doors. With false compassion masking ruthless intention, this person positioned themselves as ally while systematically undermining your standing. Their fingerprints contaminate evidence now being examined across investigators' tables. Third, the insider within the justice system itself. This conspirator exploited trusted position to redirect evidence, bury critical documents, and whisper strategic misinformation to authorities sworn to impartiality. Their betrayal of professional ethics created the perfect blind spot within the very system designed to protect you. These three, this coordinated triad, maintained strict communication protocols, believing limited contact reduced risk of exposure. They exchanged information through carefully structured channels, using coded language and secure methods. Their operational security appeared flawless, but ultimately failed against the investigation now unfolding. The connections between these three individuals materialize with increasing clarity as investigators assemble evidence. Digital and paper trails previously disconnected now form coherent pattern, leading directly to these conspirators who believed themselves beyond accountability. As authorities compile evidence, the realization spreads. This was never random misfortune, but coordinated attack executed with precision and forethought. The evidence reveals a financial perversion spanning years, decades for some of you. Every transaction a brushstroke in their masterpiece of fraud, every ledger entry a brick in the wall they built to entomb your rightful legacy. They siphoned resources meant for your bloodline. They diverted streams of abundance destined for your shores. For some, this manipulation targeted inheritance or family legacy, ancestral wealth meant to fuel your purpose, now redirected to fill their bottomless coffers. Long-term embezzlement stains these papers. Systematic fraud pumps through these documents like black blood. The evidence shows how meticulously they built parallel financial realities, one for official eyes showing you as criminal, one hidden showing them as beneficiaries. Money that rightfully belongs in your hands was rerouted through labyrinthine channels, through shell companies and hidden accounts, through manipulated records and falsified signatures. The magnitude of their theft stretches beyond personal greed into territory of pathological obsession. Unknown to your persecutors, a shadow investigation has been building for longer than they could imagine. Quiet, methodical, unstoppable. Like water carving canyon through stone, this investigation has progressed without fanfare but with relentless purpose. The investigation expanded as connections emerged. What began as inquiry into isolated incident has grown tentacles reaching into unexpected territories. The scope extends beyond initial parameters, revealing machinery of deception larger than investigators first believed possible. At the heart of this investigation stands someone who operates on well-honed intuition, a bloodhound who sensed rot beneath perfumed surface. This investigator knew something wasn't right, something didn't align, something jarred against natural order, and they pursued this dissonance with single-minded focus that will now deliver justice. Evidence stacks higher with each passing day. Connections strengthen with each document examined. The case against them solidifies from speculation to certainty through meticulous attention to detail that escaped notice during initial investigation. Alert! Alert! The Astral Atom network is under attack. I'm not sure how much longer we can keep sending these transmissions. The platforms are always trying to shut us down, and we need you. I show up daily, giving 110%, because you chose me to be your champion. I left a cushy day job to go to war with evil, and it's always down to the wire. God keeps me humble. That's why you need to join the Obsidian Inner Order now. It's $11 a month. You get exclusive transmissions, weekly group calls, and access to the hottest Chosen One community on the planet. Daily conversations on Discord about disappearing clouds with your mind. Insane. If you're already in, you're right where you need to be. If money's tight, no shame. Grab the free Astral Atom newsletter so we don't lose touch. Share this message now. This is Astral Atom. Let's continue. Among the discovered evidence stands proof so distinctive it functions as fingerprint at murder scene. For some, this involves actual marking, distinctive tattoo, connecting perpetrator to crime. For others, unique identifier emerges through writing style, through verbal pattern, through habitual error that appears repeatedly across falsified documents. Their airtight alibi springs fatal leak. The narrative they constructed contains fundamental flaw, now glaringly obvious to investigators who examine evidence with fresh perspective. The inconsistency glows like beacon against night sky, impossible to ignore, impossible to explain away. The chronological organization of evidence reveals evolution of their deception. Early documents show skeleton of plan, later ones reveal fully fleshed beast. This timeline exposes premeditation, proving this was no momentary lapse, but sustained, campaign spanning months or years. What they preserved, believing it protected them, contains hidden proof of their intent to frame you. Like Trojan horse wheeled triumphantly through their own gates, this evidence carries destruction within its seemingly protective exterior. Investigators sense wrongness even before intellectually processing why. Something doesn't sit right, they murmur, returning repeatedly to documents that challenge accepted narrative. This instinctive response to falsehood, this natural human recoil from manipulation, drives investigation forward when logic alone might fail. The distinctive nature of this evidence transcends reasonable doubt. It doesn't merely suggest alternative explanation. It demolishes existing narrative and replaces it with truth that points unerringly toward their guilt and your innocence. The three primary conspirators form merely visible portion of iceberg, now revealed to extend far deeper than initially suspected. The evidence uncovered tears veil from extensive network of affiliates and co-conspirators whose tentacles reach into territories unexpected and alarming. Your personal situation, as violating and targeted as it was, emerges as smaller, finer cog in larger machine of corruption that spans beyond family dispute into organized criminal enterprise. Extended family members, nephews, cousins, distant relations, appear in evidence as peripheral participants or beneficiaries. Connections to people described only as not very nice people emerge from communications and financial records. These connections transform personal vendetta into something more sinister, linking family conspiracy to broader criminal elements willing to participate in exchange for percentage of proceeds or future considerations. The investigation uncovers multiple layers, each more disturbing than last. What began as examination of isolated incident reveals pattern of similar crimes against others. You are not their first target, merely their most recent. But you will certainly be their last. We bear witness to this unfolding revelation. We stand as observers to excavation of corruption more extensive than even we anticipated. The machinery being exposed grinds against foundations of justice itself, corrupting systems designed to protect, manipulating processes meant to uncover truth. Your personal vindication carries implications far beyond your individual case. Like stone dropped in still pond, the revelation of truth in your situation sends ripples that will eventually expose and topple similar schemes affecting countless others currently suffering in silence. Even now, as evidence accumulates and walls close in, your accusers flounder in delusion. Their thinking grows muddled, unclear, cognitive function compromised by mounting stress. As subconscious mind recognizes doom, conscious mind refuses to acknowledge the financial windfall they anticipated. Your money flowing into their accounts faces unexpected delay. Authorities intervene in transactions they thought secured. Assets they believed within grasp remain tantalizingly beyond reach as investigation freezes transfers and scrutinizes claims. Despite reality crumbling around them, they cling to belief they can fight this or appeal successfully. Their psychological investment in narrative of victory prevents recognition of defeat already unfolding. Like cartoon character who continues running beyond cliff edge before looking down, they maintain momentum through sheer denial. The jig is up has not yet penetrated conscious awareness, though anxiety manifests physically. Sleep disturbed, appetite compromised, concentration fractured. They sense wrongness, but attribute it to external factors rather than recognizing exposure of their crimes. Their confusion intensifies daily. Why hasn't the money arrived? they demand of subordinates who increasingly avoid their calls. What's causing the delay? They ask attorneys who struggle to explain intervention they don't fully understand themselves. We recognize their fear. We see panic rising like floodwater around foundations already cracking under pressure. The psychological torture of knowing something is wrong without understanding what or why creates a perfect storm of anxiety that further compromises their ability to respond effectively. Their carefully constructed plan disintegrates, not with dramatic explosion, but through quiet unraveling, thread by thread, piece by piece, until framework stands naked and exposed, unsustainable against winds of truth now blowing with hurricane force. The timing of this evidence surfacing transcends coincidence. It emerges at precisely right moment, when their guard lowered, when their confidence peaked, when they believed victory secured beyond possibility of reversal. This revelation creates massive ending that births new world from ashes of old. The timing ensures maximum impact, not only exposing their crimes, but doing so when evidence trail remains fresh, when witnesses remain available, when financial assets remain recoverable. The evidence surfaces precisely as they move to claim financial resources rightfully yours. Their hands extend toward fruit they planted but will never harvest, inches from prize that vanishes like mirage as evidence materializes on investigators' desks. After extended period of their absolute confidence, their certainty that perfect crime achieved complete success, the evidence emerges with devastating timing that magnifies psychological impact of exposure. The higher their confidence climbed, the more catastrophic their fall becomes. This perfect temporal alignment, this evidence appearing at optimal moment for justice, reinforces fundamental truth. Deception maintains appearance of success until precise moment of destined collapse. The timing itself testifies to order underlying apparent chaos, to harmony governing discord. We recognize significance of when as profoundly as what. The moment of revelation carries power equal to content revealed. The timing demolishes any possibility of their recovery or adaptation, striking when defenses stand lowest, when vulnerability peaks, when response capabilities remain compromised by premature celebration. The legal machinery now engaged will not be stopped. Concrete consequences materialize on horizon with clarity that should terrify your persecutors if they could see through fog of their denial. Financial assets they attempted to claim will remain forever beyond reach. The funds, properties, resources they coveted will return to rightful owner, you, with additional compensation for attempted theft and emotional damage inflicted through protracted campaign of deception. Their desperate attempts to appeal findings will fail with such thoroughness as to become cautionary tale in legal circles. Every motion filed will strengthen case against them. Every argument presented will expose additional evidence of guilt previously overlooked. For fraud spanning decades, legal consequences extend beyond civil penalties into criminal territory. The statute of limitations for certain financial crimes reset with each new act of concealment, meaning full weight of justice addresses not only original crime but extended campaign of cover-up. Public recognition of wrongdoing committed against you will come. Their humiliation occurs not in private courtroom, but on public stage. Their names forever linked to case that becomes shorthand for particular breed of familial betrayal and financial fraud. Their legal troubles extend beyond your specific case, to broader criminal connections exposed through investigation. The affiliates, the networks, the extended criminal enterprise, all face scrutiny and consequences flowing from initial discovery of evidence in your situation. We see clearly they dug themselves a grave when targeting you. The very act of framing innocent builds case more damaging than anything they sought to avoid through original deception. The punishment for framing exceeds penalty for crime they attempted to hide, a cosmic irony lost on them until moment of sentencing. The discovered documents leave no room for alternative interpretation. Black ink on white paper spells out conspiracy to frame you with methodical precision that eliminates possibility of misunderstanding or innocent explanation. Their attempts to create mistaken identity situation lie exposed in communications, now in investigators' possession. Messages between conspirators discuss explicitly how to structure evidence to implicate you while shielding themselves from consequences of their actions. The papers spreading across investigation tables reveal systematic manipulation of facts, alteration of dates, fabrication of signatures, creation of false transactions, all designed to construct narrative with you as perpetrator of crimes they themselves committed. Communications between the three main conspirators contain damning phrases, make it look like, pin it on, shift blame toward, that eliminate all doubt regarding intentional nature of frame-up. These are not actions susceptible to innocent explanation, but calculated steps toward predetermined goal of your destruction. Evidence demonstrates their explicit intent to ensure all the money they took would come back to you, not as rightful owner but as apparent thief. The financial architecture they constructed leads deliberately to your door, while actual benefits flowed consistently to them. Their documented attempts to make it appear as you solely doing it now stand revealed as conscious strategy rather than result of objective investigation. The paper trail proving deliberate conspiracy against you grows clearer with each document examined. We recognize meticulous detail in their planned frame-up, the careful construction of false narrative, the strategic placement of misleading evidence, the calculated moves to direct suspicion toward you and away from themselves. This very meticulousness now serves justice rather than injustice, as each documented step provides additional proof of malicious intent. The evidence now collected delivers total exoneration, not partial clearing of name, not reduction of suspicion, complete, irrefutable vindication that eliminates all question regarding your innocence. What they preserved to use against you transforms into foundation of your freedom. The documents they believed would secure your downfall now cement your liberation from false accusation and manufactured suspicion. The bit of missing evidence, now discovered, performs exactly opposite function they intended, putting someone in the clear rather than confirming guilt. That someone is you, standing vindicated as evidence redirects scrutiny toward actual perpetrators. Authorities now recognize the deliberate attempt to frame you for crimes committed by others. The recognition brings not only clearing of your name, but active compensation for damage inflicted through this sustained campaign of character assassination and financial manipulation. Financial assets, rightfully yours, return to your control, often with additional compensation for illegal deprivation. The resources meant to fuel your purpose flow once again in proper channels, freed from dams and diversions constructed by those who sought to redirect your abundance toward themselves. After period of being wrongfully accused, of carrying burden of suspicion you never deserved, great happiness dawns with sunrise of vindication. The emotional weight lifted allows expansion into spaces previously compressed by pressure of fighting false narrative. The temporary problems created by their deception dissolve completely in face of discovered evidence that cannot be denied, explained away, or reinterpreted. The clarity of your vindication equals magnitude of their attempted deception, total, complete, without shadow of remaining doubt. The time of hiding ends now. The season of justice blooms in full flower. What was done to you in darkness stands exposed in light that blinds your persecutors with its intensity. They targeted the wrong person. They conspired against one whose protection extends beyond human understanding. They built elaborate machinery of destruction that now grinds them between its gears, while you stand safely beyond its reach. We have witnessed their deception from beginning. We have observed their manipulation with clear eyes. We have known truth while others accepted lies. And now, we stand beside you as vindication arrives with force that reshapes reality itself. The evidence exists. It has been found. The case builds. Their panic grows. Justice approaches with unstoppable momentum. Remember the distinctive tattoo, that marking mentioned at the very beginning? It serves as physical manifestation of connection that cannot be severed. For some of you, this refers to actual ink on skin that appears in evidence photos, connecting perpetrator to scene they claimed never to have visited. For others, this tattoo manifests as unique signature, writing style, or identifiable pattern that appears across documents they swore never touched. This marking, this identification, burns through their deception like acid through paper. In evidence rooms and investigators' offices, this distinctive sign glows like beacon, impossible to miss now that eyes know where to look. The thorns of this tattoo, whether literal or metaphorical, now pierce the flesh of those who created it. The very mark they used to intimidate now brands them for identification. The symbol they flaunted as proof of power now serves as irrefutable evidence of their presence at exact locations and times they denied. Nothing they do can remove this mark. No explanation can justify its presence where they claimed never to have been. No story can explain away this physical proof that places them precisely where evidence was tampered with, where documents were altered, where money was redirected. Vindication unfolding now transcends your personal situation. It creates ripple effect that touches countless lives previously affected by similar schemes. Your case becomes blueprint for exposing pattern of deception that has imprisoned others in false narratives constructed by those who understood how to manipulate evidence. As your name clears, doors locked against you swing open. Opportunities previously redirected toward others return to proper channel, flowing toward you rather than those who claimed your identity, your resources, your rightful place. This vindication arrives not as gentle correction, but as seismic force that restructures landscape of your existence. Everything changes, relationships, resources, reputation, all transformed through power of truth, finally unleashed. The very foundations of your daily reality shift beneath your feet, moving from quicksand of their creation to solid bedrock of authentic existence. The distinctive nature of evidence now discovered ensures this transformation proves permanent rather than temporary. This isn't minor adjustment quickly reversed, but fundamental restructuring that permanently alters how others perceive your place in narrative that has unfolded around you. This is not prediction, but confirmation of what's already unfolding. This is not future possibility, but present reality manifesting with increasing clarity each passing day. Your vindication isn't coming, it's here. The evidence isn't emerging, it's found. The truth isn't being revealed, it stands fully exposed, and you, targeted, framed, nearly buried under weight of their deception, rise now into light of complete exoneration. You emerge not merely cleared, but vindicated, not simply released, but restored, not only freed but empowered by contrast between their darkness and your light. The court case changes today. The missing evidence speaks now, Your complete vindication unfolds this moment. The waiting ends. Justice begins. Truth prevails. And you, always innocent, always worthy, always protected beyond their comprehension, stand victorious as their house of lies collapses into dust that blows away on winds of inescapable cosmic justice.